Hey Algebra, so today I am out like I said, and I might be out tomorrow, so I want to go over some parts of this worksheet so you guys knew exactly what to do on each section, okay? So this is the front of the worksheet. This is what the back looks like, okay? So make sure you're on the front side right now while I explain this, okay? Notice that on this section and this section up here, it says linear. So we are doing the linear equation, which is y equals the change in y over the change in x, okay? X plus b. And remember, b is the number that when x is 0, what is y? It's the y-intercept, okay? So the first one we did an example, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to say, what is the change in y, okay? So what's happening every time, okay? And this one is from 12 to 14, we're adding 2. And the change in x, and same thing here, it's add 2. And then the change in x here is plus 1, okay, plus 1, because they're going up 1 each time, and the bottom's going up 2 each time. So the change in y over the change in x, right, our slope is y divided by x. So what's 2 divided by 1? 2. And that's what we wrote here. So again, it's always the change in y over the change in x. Then we need to figure out our b, right? So the b, so right here at the end, it'll be plus or minus, and it is the number that is with 0. So here's 0 on the x, okay? So when x is 0, y is 10. That's what goes at the end right there, okay? So again, the number in the front is the change in y over the change in x. You divide those two numbers, so 2 divided by 1 is 2. That goes here. And 0 over 10, right? So when x is 0, y is 10. So 10 goes here. That's what you're going to do on all of these, okay? Your table will always start at 0 and end at whatever this is. So like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think most of them are 0 to 5. So on this one, this should still be 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Then you always put your first term, like in this one right here. Our first term was 12. You always put your first term underneath 1. So when you do the next one, your first term is 27. So 27 goes here. Okay? The second term goes here, 34. The third term always goes here. Okay? You gotta work backwards to get to 0, and you gotta work forwards to get 4 and 5. So like on this one, what is this change? Okay, this one, to get from 27 to 34, you would add 7. From 34 to 41, you would add 7. So again, these two terms are going to add 7 and add 7. So 41 plus 7 is 48. And 48 plus 7 is 55. Okay, I'll give you a second to get that. Okay. Then to get this one right here, this 0, you got to go backwards. So to go backwards, you do the opposite of plus 7, which is minus 7. So 27 minus 7 would be 20. All right, make sure you have that. So now let's write our rule. Our rules are y equals equation, correct? So y equals, okay, the change in y over the change in x. What are these moving by? 2 to 3 is plus 1. 3 to 4 is plus 1. 4 to 5 is plus 1. So that would be 7 divided by 1, which is 7. So y equals 7. And then you always put an x. And then again, the number at the end is whatever, when x is 0, what is y? So when x is 0, y is 20. So this one would be 7x plus 20. So that's what you're doing for the first section, okay? You are figuring out what the 0 is to put here, figuring out the change in x to put here. It always goes 0 through 5 on all of these, 0 through 5. So the change is always going to be 1 on the top for that first section. Then you have 11 through 20 over here. This says exponential. This up here also says exponential. So the rule for exponential is what we did yesterday, okay? Where A, right here, is your y-intercept. It's when y is 0. So when y is 0, what is x, right? Or sorry, yeah. So your exponential is when x is 0, what is y, correct? Sorry about that mistake. Okay, so on the first one, when x is 0, what is y? When x is 0, y is 50, so you put a 50 there. B right here is what you're growing or decaying by, okay? You only check the bottom on these ones. So what are we multiplying by? So 50 times what is 500, which is times 10. 500 times 10 is 5,000, and 5,000 times 10 is 50,000, okay? And that's what I put here. The multiple is it's changing by being multiplied by 10. Sorry, this shouldn't be a 2, this should be an x. Plus 0. Okay? So again, it is whatever is on underneath 0 goes here. Whatever you're multiplying by goes here. X goes here, plus 0. Then again, these start by 0 and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you find the bottom, okay? So 9's your first term, so you gotta put 9 here. And 81 here. And 729 here, and so on. And figure out what is being multiplied. How do you go from 9 to 81? 9 times what is 81? And then that should match what this one is, and so on. To go backwards, instead of multiplying by that number, you will divide by it. Okay? So if you want to do this one real fast, 9 times what is 81? 9 times 9. 81 times 9 is 729. You guys can take these numbers and multiply to get the next one. Okay? And to go backwards, 9 divided by 9 is 1. So 9 divided by 9 is 1. So there we go. Now we know what our A is. Our A is 1. So y equals 1. B is what are we multiplying by, which is 9. X, and then at the end, it's always plus 0, no matter what. So what is below 0 is 1. We are multiplying by 9. And then you do plus 0 at the end. And that is how you do 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so for the next section, on the back side, you will tell me, is this exponential or linear? We kind of did this yesterday in the warm-up. Tell me the next 3 terms. Tell me if it's linear or exponential. And then what was the previous term? So what would the one before 10 be? Okay, so let's figure this out. How do you go from 10 to 20? Okay, you can either add 10 or you can multiply by 2. So which one is it? Are we adding 10 or multiply by 2 to get to 20 to 30? You would have to add 10. And remember, if you add, linear is add, exponential is multiply. Okay? So we are going to do add because we're adding 10 each time, so that is linear. So the next one would be what comes after 30. 30 plus 10 is 40. 40 plus 10 is 50. 50 plus 10 is 60. Okay, what would the previous term be? So if we're going from left to right and we're adding 10 each time, to go backwards, we need to subtract 10. So 10 going backwards minus 10 would be 0. Okay, so again, if you're adding, it's linear. If you're multiplying to find each thing, it is exponential. Okay, the next section, which is a little bit down, so we just did that one right here. Okay, it says write the rules for the following tables, so you should write an equation, y equals mx plus b. Remember that b is when x is 0, what is your y value, and whatever your y value is that what you plug in for b. M is going to be your change in y over your change in x, okay? So you divide those two numbers, so whatever this change is, your y change, over your x change, okay? And then that should be it on that one. And again, so this should be a y equals equation and a y equals equation, and they're both linear. So they're both going to be y equals mx plus b. There will be no exponentials in this section. Okay, last one is just like that little mini quiz we did yesterday. One of these will be linear, one of these will be exponential, okay, between these two. So they're both going to be a y equals equation. Either the linear, remember, is y equals mx plus b, and the exponential equation is y equals a times b raised to the x plus c, which in our case is going to be always 0. Okay, so one of these will be linear equation, one of them will be exponential. You got to figure that out and fill out the tables. All right, hopefully I will see you tomorrow on Friday, but if not, you could always go to Miss C and ask for help, okay, working your groups. Please make sure you are in the right group today, okay? Do not be in the wrong group. Attendance will be taken by your groups. You can also email me at sarah.garcia@midlandisd.net, and I'll try to get back to you. All right, guys, good luck on the worksheet. Have a great day. Turn into the basket when you are done. Bye.